motivate customer. In the next 30 minutes, we will be looking at how I deal with my customers and distributors. I will go into details about how I contact them, how I write to them, when I go which step, and when I use the time for developing my own activities. These tools I use are very simple and reproducible. Routines can get adjusted individually and growth is possible at any time, whenever the person feels up for it. My name is Antje Lüdemann, Diamond Leader from Germany. It's a great honor to have the opportunity, and I'm very thankful to be able to talk to all of you today. First, let's begin with a brief introduction of myself so that you get to know me a little better. I started my career as a nurse, and already in early years I realized that the typical way nursing was done in the late 80s and early 90s wasn't enough. The system of orthodox medicine went further and further away from the human being to administration. Also, I was more important to think about ways how to make illnesses and diseases profitable, instead of finding ways how to heal people. In my early 20s, when I was still looking for answers for all the open questions I had in mind, I started to offer care service and accompanied those who were dying at their homes. I joined several further trainings in different areas, gained certificates and fulfilled apprenticeships, which all lead to a diploma as a naturopathic and to my own office. 2011, I found out about the Young Living products. From the very first moment, I was fascinated about them. All this fascination increased when I was about to go on my first big trip. In 2013, just before heading off to the Silver Retreat in St. Mary's, Idaho, the depressions my daughter Maike had already been struggling with for some time got worse, so that I had to cancel my retreat. I was very sad about that, but then Young Living suggested to take her with me, and they promised us to not be left on our own. Not only Sherry Ross took care of us from the moment we arrived. By the way, Sherry, thank you so much. I will never forget that. Also, Gary took his time and sat down with us to suggest a support program for Maike. This encounter changed our life completely. Which boss of a billion companies does something like that? Which boss of a company that has millions of distributors does something like that? I am so thankful for having met these people. At the beginning of my career at Young Living, I just shared, I guess like many of us do. I wasn't aware about what opportunity it was for me to be part of such a network like Young Living is. Probably this is also the reason why not all team members felt to have properly taken care of. Everything just happened so incredibly fast, but I also learned fast. Mainly, I realized that not everybody tried to search and get all necessary information from wherever it was possible, just like I did. I also learned that people have different expectations and follow different procedures. Also, I learned two important insights on my way to the diamond. One of them first, when I already became a diamond. The first insight is that you should keep in mind who are friends from work and who are friends because there is a difference. Most problems within a team result from this. Nearly every time when it's about mediation in a team, this confusion plays a big role. Then, frequently, we no longer try to find a solution for a problem together. Instead, it's all about who is on whose side, who has to give in, and who has to apologize. In addition, a second topic often plays a big role, and those are emotions, which can't be separated from the topic that is being discussed. Of course, I have friends that are now also working for Young Living. Of course, you can also find a friend and a friend from work, even a good and a reliable one. but just let it find its path and avoid assuming things. Everybody in Young Living is here because they choose to, with their own personality. Everybody of us is using the products and/or is a business builder. We can all decide for ourselves. I can't and shouldn't expect more, put pressure on anyone that he or she should follow the business model, and even less with how much intensity. I don't walk in other people's shoes. If I have understood this, then it must be clear that I can't force anyone. So the only instrument I have is enthusiasm, which means I can only work with information and inspiration. So my motto here is, inspiration follows information. We are all individuals, which means I can't and don't want to expect any copy of myself. Neither I want to be one. Does this mean that I have to reinvent the wheel myself? No, it does exist already. I just have to adopt it on my way, with my own enthusiasm, to the best of knowledge and belief. Individuality is such a wonderful thing. We can learn so much from each other. Other important key points during my growth were to distinguish hype from motivation, fake from truth, and ego from positioning, and how to pass this knowledge on to others. How shall I now work with my team? How can I give support? Then this is what it's all about. With all the experiences I gained during my first period, I of course also went through a development process. It is important to always have a relation to your team partners. When it's not possible or desired, I at least try to make the initial attempts toward it. The best way to get into a conversation is through telephone calls. Emails can be very non-binding when you actually want to build up trust and show that you care. I had a hard time with learning how to use all these different online tools, then to recommend them to others and to explain how to use them. Most of them are not self-explanatory, and sometimes by using the English services and hotlines, I struggled with my language skills, the way it also happens to other German. For these reasons, the offer was quite limited, but I still recommend setting up newsletters via online mail programs. There are also free versions available, especially at the beginning. When there are still not so many team members, a free tool is much easier and better. I also recommend the different existing Facebook groups, and I organize regular Zoom calls. Most of the trainings I give in Sisterline, and of course I also recommend internal information and leader groups, where it's mainly all about fast communications, strategies and compliance. Here in Europe, we have to follow stricter regulations, which limits us, for example, from sharing those amazing American videos. Because there are always new team members joining, we need a good, sensitive touch to ensure understanding and to collect ideas how to improve. If it's needed, I shift everything online, add some new training sessions and coach how to use them. Either only as information for oneself or to look at it with other new interested people. Whenever it's possible, me and my team partners try to send beforehand product samples so that you can catch a whiff during the live stream. The advantage of videos is that they can be paused at any time to then discuss open questions with the other call attendees, similar to a face-to-face training. Once a week, I have a video call with my leaders where a core team is being developed and where team spirit plays a big role. Sometimes there's not much to say, but I get a good feeling about what is going on, and I love being in contact with my leaders and the feeling to get inspired by each other. It has become very important to me, especially because the team is getting bigger and bigger. Sometimes I have to support really dramatic situations in life of my team partners. For example, losing their home, closing their own office, or being fired with reasons they cannot understand. They are completely desperate because they lost everything and help is very urgent. To tell them, be relaxed and go for young living wouldn't be very mindful, neither enough. The team member is panicking and in shock and isn't able to run the business as normal. To get them out of the situation, I decide to help them. For example, I created email drafts for cosmetician of one-woman businesses that already in the past struggled to get through the months. Often in situations of need and full of frustrations, I can't even think clearly about how to write such inspiring mails, to call attention to the young living business as a second or new service to their clients. So I created mail drafts to simplify their ability to act and to pass this on to the team. One of the most important tools, which also become already one of the most popular ones, where many of us can't wait to receive this on the 1st of every month, is the issue online booklet that we design, which includes current young living monthly promotions with many tips and suggestions, as well as information about the products that are getting promoted. We already have more than thousands of readers. To sum up, every team partner I register will receive a welcome mail which includes, among other, the following information. First, where he or she can find which Facebook groups. Second, all my social media channels, Instagram, FB, YouTube, WhatsApp. The link to register to my newsletter. I confirm again the arranged phone call, which will take place once his or her first order comes in. I leave a link from the link generator with his or her sponsor and enroller ID, so that he or she can directly register whoever he or she wants. A link to my YouTube video about the starter set. And last, the link to my YouTube video about the business plan. If a team partner registers with the premium starter kit, I will additionally send a gift package with a book about essential oils, together with another welcome letter, which of course smells wonderful. I always build up on my classes, which means after the starter set comes the organ wellness. After the wellness session, the filling up with vital supplements. First, then I focus on each individual needs, which means, for example, animals, children's, babies, or emotional balance. I realize that members that have knowledge and know-how in these first three areas more likely will permanently stay in a essential reward program than when it's done differently. To my business builders, I recommend the same way. And if desired, I support them as long as I feel that they can handle it by themselves. Facebook Live videos help to improve the program, and if necessary, also here I offer training sessions about how videos come across in an authentic way. Everybody who joins Young Living needs information about how to order, where to find his ID, how to inscribe, where and what the link generator is. And over again, I observe that many members don't take their time at the beginning to brief their sale partners and to introduce them to the virtual office, as well as to assure them that they will be guided and that once everything is explained, it's also super easy. This is a serious mistake, which leads to a large loss of context. What I'm requesting of you is to love, to help, to share. This is what it's all about. Over and over again, this is so important. Usually, I'm available, which means, of course, not 24/7, but I answer to any kind of messages within short time. Of course, it also happens that I miss out on some mails, messages or WhatsApp messages, but this is really rare. My trick is to only open an email then when I'm actually going to work on it. This way, I don't miss out on anyone. It seems something unusual to do, but it's so important to me that our sale partners feel welcomed and appreciated. Another part of my job is to help those teams that can't or don't want to work together, to bridge the time of development the best way possible. There can always be sensitivities where some distancing is needed and growth then has to be independent from each other. Usually, this only happens for a short period of time, but unfortunately, sometimes also permanently. Nevertheless, I believe it is still better like this because you can't force anything, and it's someone's own choice. We are not the therapists of our sale partners. We are business partners, and when people don't want to sit around a table together to discuss topics, it is sad, but there is nothing we can do about it. In these situations, no one should fall out from the information flow. This is exactly when the groups help a lot. Often, I also first find out in the groups that the supervision isn't enough. This way I can look into the teams and check which sponsor they have to advise him and the next upline. By the way, the groups have to be moderated best in an understanding and caring way. Compliance has to be followed, which also means to explain this as new partners because these often can't see the purpose in it. I often observe that leaders don't bother about this topic and let other distributors do these unloved things. Distributors that have understood the purpose and fulfilled the task. I think that also here it is fundamentally to set an example, and in particular as a leader to position clearly and especially not to let other distributors do those less pleasant jobs. We can also do that ourselves, and in a loving way. I love foundation-based business. This is why I don't force anyone to build up their own business. But if people join the team, here I also train faster the power of 3 and our new silver bonds, depending on their own given resources. Here I also train faster the power of 3 and our new silver bound bonus is a great bonus which is thereby supported. Furthermore, I advertise trainings, the ones I hold, but reach all ears. My uplines, downlines and sister lines as long as I know them. I know it doesn't matter how good I want to be. I can't reach all ears. It would be stupid to think so. Moreover, I have learned so much from and with my team. My events and farm experiences will always be part of my sessions and speeches. I never get tired of talking about them, and I really wish that everyone at least goes to visit our amazing farms on the continent and to experience personalities seed to seal in such an imposing way. Here in Europe, there are meanwhile 3 beautiful farm trips possible. To the picturesque Simon-la-Rotonde in South France, where lavender, rosemary, einkorn and clary sage are planted. To our beautiful Dalmatia aromatic farm in Split in Croatia. Helichrysum, sage and juniper are grown there. And to Bulgaria, to our Balkan botanical farm. Here Roman chamomile, valerian and rose are being cultivated. I love to imagine that many more beautiful farms will follow. The trips to the farms are so special that they will find a place in your heart. This is the right place to be. This is the truth, the perfect result of a wonderful vision. The Garden of Eden, lovingly cultivated. This is often the highlight of the year, and my experience is the same way as I heard in last year at the IGC from one of my estimate colleges of the RCD leader panel process. He or she visit our farms, stop asking questions. He or she is familiar with the C2C process, was able to touch, see and internalize the entire process. He or she is being added to the circle of observers. It is pure trust. When it comes to new interested people, I like to use for the initial assessment the 4-color model of personality typology. It is so simple and logical. Every type of person is pleasant and loving. Everybody has something special about themselves. Learning their languages is not difficult. Quite the contrary, it is exciting and full of beautiful and valuable insights. And also here again, it's always a pleasure to see your personal growth. Do I see others as better or worse? Or do I think they are only different? This is very important. 2 years ago, I was lucky that the life placed this very special man by my side. My meanwhile, yes, it went quite fast, beloved partner has helped me out in so many other aspects. The administrational part and all those things one has to deal with in public affairs, where so far I had for always asked for help to others, I now finally started to do by myself. He has much more knowledge than me in these fields, so I learned from him. And of course, it is a loving fortune to have him as a former head of analytical planning of one of Europe's biggest media companies by my side, to also have access to his pool of economical, legal, and social psychological knowledge. I also now have a better understanding about the interface between distribution and corporate. But above all, I wanted to pass this knowledge onto my team in a simple, easy way. And so I convinced him to create a training session together, which can cover exactly this part. It's easy to register a company in Germany. You just have to go to the public office and ask for a business license, which will cost you 25 euro. But then to feel that you are an entrepreneur in Germany, to choose this path, many people are scared. Because they think that they will be overloaded with accounting tasks and that they will make many mistakes. With our training, a really good tool arrived so that young distributors gain trust as fast as possible, build up their company, and apart from that, we replace fear with pleasure. Yes, even feel proud to finally have an at the beginning small but own amazing company, which will be taken care of and will be loved so that it can grow in protection and care of young living. This also leads me to the last part of my presentation, where I want to talk about the agenda behind the agenda. They also called Plan B. This is simple. I don't have any. At Young Living, there is no need to convince people to pay for expensive seminars, just so that the business model will work. Also, contacts don't have to be collected just in case one day I choose to do something different. I do not need Plan B. Young Living is a lifelong love. Yes, I love Young Living. I trust Young Living. From the day I met Mary and Gary, Joseph and Jacob, on my silver retreat in St. Mary's, Idaho, since the moment I was allowed to experience the love and engagement of this so unique and amazing family. From this moment, I was allowed to look into the heart of Young Living. I only want one thing: to spread their wonderful products in the best way possible, to inspire in an optimum way, and to give my best to support this amazing vision, as well as to help in order to make this world a better place. There's no better, more ethical and integrated possibility for being all healthy aspects to human beings. I follow with passionate conviction my role model Mary Young, our fantastic company boss, who is full of knowledge, know-how, charisma, love and patience. She and her executive team open us all doors for now and for the future. We just have to follow the path. The way Mary at so many conventions takes her time to talk for hours full of love, patience and enthusiasm to everybody, signs books, appreciates and helps everyone. Let us do the same. Let us do the same. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Thank you so much and have a wonderful convention.